These days, implementing ZTNA or Zero Trust Network Access is on everyone's and every organization's mind and priority list. One important thing to remember is that ZTNA is not just for remote users. Every user, every device, regardless of their location, either remote or on-prem, should be safeguarded. The three core principles of the ZTNA models are never trust, always verify. Basically, it says treat every user, every device, every application, every data flow as untrusted. You should authenticate and authorize each to the least privilege required using dynamic security policy. The second principle is use least privilege access. Give basically access to only the resources that the user or device or application need to have access to. And the third one is always assume a breach. Intentionally, you need to operate and secure your resources or your environment with the assumption that a bad actor already has a presence within that environment. So you should deny by default and heavily inspect all users, all devices, all data flows, and especially every request for access. CloudConnexa device identity verification and enforcement, or DIVE for short, is a wide area private cloud or WPC security policy that reinforces your network and reduces your attack surface by locking the profile to a specific device, basically allowing only authorized devices to connect to your WPC. You can consider CloudConnexa DIVE as a new approach to enforcing one of the key principles of ZTNA, least privilege, by allowing you as an owner or administrator to restrict user access to only trusted devices. This is basically accomplished by establishing a one-on-one relationship with the user's connection profile and the device's UUID. Just a side note, UUID stands for Universally Unique Identifier. And one way to find your UUID or device ID is by opening the client app and go to settings, and you're going to see the device ID. That's your UUID. Now, when it comes to device identity verification and enforcement, or DIVE, we have three options. Off is the default option. Basically, that means that there is no device enforcement policy in play. But keep in mind that when off is enabled, your profiles or devices still gonna register the UUID of the devices that they're getting connected from. For example, if I go to users and look at one of our users, Midas, for example, here Midas doesn't have client UUID registered under his profile. So we're going to go ahead and connect with Midas's profile to see what happens here. So here's the client app. I'm going to add the profile. So let me add the address here. And next, I'm going to type Midas's username and password. Let me go type that and the password here. And then click on sign in. Since we're logging in first time, I have to choose the region, Atlanta, and then connect. So Midas's account is connected. Now let's go back to the admin profile and refresh the page here. And as you can see, UUID has been registered under his account. So if I look at the client app and go to settings, you're going to see is the same device ID. So even though the device enforcement is set to off, we're still the device ID or UUID is getting registered. You can see under the connection logs or under status, the user that is connected, the device, the operating system, and the region that they got connected. Device identity verification and enforcement has two other settings or options available. Learn and enforce is one of them. This is the option that when it's enabled, you as the administrator can choose to create a device with or without the device ID. If you create it without the device ID, the UUID will be added and registered on the next successful connection, and from then on, the user has to only connect from that device when using the same profile. The minimum version of clients necessary for this option is displayed on the screen. The third and last option is enforce. This option is the most restrictive one. When it's enabled, you must associate a user's profile with the device when it's created. Only users with trusted devices can use the profile and connect successfully. Again, the minimum version of the client is displayed on the screen, so you need to make sure that the clients are updated and upgraded to these, at least to these versions. So this was a first part or introduction part of the three-part series or videos for device identity verification and enforcement, or DIVE for short. On the next two videos, we're going to look at the steps that it takes to configure each of these options, and we're going to look at the user experience when any of these options are enabled. So I'll see you on the next videos.